A group of college friends, Ava, Ryan, Nick, Sam, and Jenna, decide to take a weekend road trip to a remote campground, hoping for a quiet escape from their busy lives. They follow the old highway until their car begins to sputter, leaving them stranded in the middle of nowhere with no cell reception. Desperate for help, the friends spot a dusty road sign pointing to a tiny, nearly abandoned town a few miles away. As they walk, they find themselves drawn to a peculiar farmhouse at the edge of the forest, surrounded by old trucks and rusted machinery. The place has an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional whir of insects. They assume it's empty until they're greeted by a woman named Lila, who offers them water and invites them inside. She's oddly cheerful, with a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes, but they're too tired to refuse. Inside, the house is a time capsule of the past, floral wallpaper peeling off, musty furniture, and a smell they can't quite place. Lila tells them her husband, a mechanic, can fix their car. Ava, uneasy, starts noticing strange things. Deep scratches on the walls, a worn rope dangling from the ceiling, and an array of old photographs showing other visitors who don't look quite happy. Ryan, curious about the strange layout of the house, decides to explore. He stumbles into a basement full of grim, unsettling relics, tattered clothing, old shoes, and worn ID cards. A sense of dread overwhelms him. As he hurries back up, he overhears Lila whispering to someone unseen, "We haven't had a good meal in a long time?" Realizing they're in danger, the friends try to leave, but every door they open only leads to another strange room or locked passage. They're trapped in a twisted maze, and soon they realize they're not alone. One by one, they encounter a shadowy figure, a hulking man wielding a massive butcher's cleaver, his face hidden behind a gruesome homemade mask. He moves silently but with purpose, like he's done this 100 times before. In a frantic fight for survival, they learn that Lila and her family have lived off travelers for years, luring them in with kindness before trapping them in their deadly labyrinth. Desperation kicks in as each friend faces their worst fears, trying to escape the endless corridors of the house. The horror isn't just in the violence, it's in the realization that they are prey in a twisted family's perverse routine. Ava, the last one standing, finally breaks through a hidden door and runs into the night, bruised, terrified, but alive. She finds herself back on the road, hitchhiking to the next town, knowing she's lost her friends forever, but that no one will believe her story of the nightmare lurking just off the highway. Years later, Ava still drives that same highway, searching for the turnoff she can never quite find. The police found no trace of her friends, and the farmhouse seemed to vanish into thin air when they investigated. Some nights, she wakes up tasting dust and hearing Lila's cheerful voice, wondering if it was all a dream. But then she notices things, small things at first. How strangers at diners smile at her a bit too widely, their eyes never quite warming. How every few months another story surfaces about missing travelers on that stretch of road. How sometimes when she looks in her rearview mirror late at night, she swears she sees that hulking figure in a homemade mask, patient and waiting. The worst part isn't the nightmares or the guilt of surviving. It's the hunger she's developed since that night. A strange, gnawing emptiness that normal food can't satisfy. Sometimes she catches herself smiling at tired travelers who stop at her small roadside cafe, telling them about a shortcut they might want to try. Her smile never quite reaches her eyes anymore, and lately she's been thinking about renovating her basement.